Well then. So how was I supposed to wake up Club Prez and Hirasaka? I was lost in thought as I headed to my classroom, but then someone threw their arm over my shoulder and grabbed me.
ようトルなんだ校門前でイチャイチャしやがって彼女かついにお前にも彼女ができたのか
Ah, and this is because Saki's missing. So, nobody realizes, hey, we've been actually dating Saki now. Tetsuya, you're hurting me. Not only was my shoulder firmly caught such that I couldn't escape, but his fist was digging into my injured side, causing a sharp stabbing pain to shoot through me. Wow, we're just getting hurt. Like, we were getting hurt like the whole last part of the episode with our freaking rib cage, and now we're getting other pain. He must not have known I was hurting because he made no effort to take it easy on me. Oh, not good. My vision was getting dark. We're dying. Gosh, we're looking pale this episode too. We're pale every episode.
おうすまん大丈夫か
We're just pale, okay? In this case, we're actually dying. But I'm okay, I guess. My side is hurting a bit this morning. I was so weird that I even have the energy to get angry, so I put my hand on the wall to hold myself up.
すまん許せ知らなかったんだ
I didn't know. Then you buy the bread later, I'll give you the money.
アシリかまあいいだろ
He's like, these terms are acceptable. Why did he sound so pompous? It was his fault in the first place.
哲也くんってばごめんねトールくん
It's nothing for you to apologize about, Asahi. Oh good, our vision's back. I exhaled, calming my breathing. Even though it felt like something was broken this morning, now it was no worse than a bad bruise. If I didn't think about it, it might heal quickly. I want to be able to cope if I didn't. If I didn't think like that.
でさっきお前と一緒にいた子は誰なんだ
Huh? Didn't I tell you about Alice yesterday? At least if Alice was right about the passage of time, then I told him about her night before the commotion
いや
yesterday.
聞いてないなけどそうかアリスちゃんか可愛い子だったじゃないか
Nodding, he put his hand on my
お前
shoulders.
いつもぶっ倒れそうな感じだし彼女ができればなーって思ってたんだよ何があってもすぐに第一発見者が出るだろ
Someone to find my body. That makes it sound like I'll be dead.
本当だよだけどトールくんのことを気にしてくれる子がいるのは安心するな今までそういう相手いなかったしほんといつもぼんやりしてたから心配だったんだよ
I hate this so much. We just went through all this. We have a girlfriend now. Wait a second, I didn't have anyone like that.
うんお前いつも顔色悪そうにフラフラしてただろ俺たちと弥生さん以外に友達いないし
I thought we already established that she wasn't here. Figuring out my circumstances in the stream almost made me vomit blood and sorrow, but I managed to hold it in. What about Saki? Asahi and Tetsuya looked at each other.
それ誰だ
Could it be? Did no one remember Saki in this dream I was having? I thought Alice mentioned this already. Like, I already went into this assuming that nobody remembered her. Did he not catch that? I'm surprised it's usually me not catching that. Was it as Alice had said and everyone thought Saki never existed? Yes, that's what she'd already said. You don't remember, she's my sister.
トールくんの妹さんは昔死んじゃったって言ってたよね
Ouch, said Asahi as she averted her eyes awkwardly.
また変な夢でも見たか、しょうがねえなほらとりあえず保健室行くぞ少し休んだ方がいいんじゃないか
Tetsuya grabbed my shoulder and started walking the opposite direction of the classroom. Wait, hold on, I'm fine, so...
トールくんが本当は大丈夫なのは知ってるだけど疲れてる時は少し休んだ方がいいよね
Oh, okay. The way she says that sounds kind of sad. Like, hey, we know you're okay, even though you've been hurting for a long time, but it's good to get some rest. Tetsuya and Asahi were both smiling at me in resignation. This must be how life was for me without Saki. I had bad dreams and was affected by them during the day. Reality and dreams blended together for me, and those two remained my friends. They probably thought that I had had some dream about a non-existent sister. If I resisted, I'd probably cause trouble for them, but on the other hand, I didn't think there was anything I could say that they would believe. But even I knew that without Saki, I'd probably have a hard time telling dreams and reality apart. Alright, I'll go to the infirmary. I'll rest for a while, so let go.
なんだいつもわけわかんないこと言うときより素直だな
哲也くんもわざわざそういうこと言わない
Tetsuya slowly let go. I wondered how much I had been helped by these two like this, and by Saki.
先輩
From a corner of the hallway came a familiar voice. Tetsuya and Ase looked up in surprise. The owner of the voice walked straight towards me, unconcerned that people were looking at her. Hirasaka? She grabbed my hand.
どういうことですか
Quiet but sternly, Hirasaka looked me in the eye. Hirasaka, do you remember Saki? Hirasaka looked relieved for a moment to hear me say this and seemed to relax a little.
先輩話があります来てもらえますねごめん確か理事の
Okay, I'm glad she remembered. Like, when she first ran up to us and stuff, I was like, oh no. What's the meaning of this? I thought she was gonna say, I saw you with another girl at the entrance of the school or something. I was like, oh no, they're gonna go a silly route with this,
そ
but...
の理事の姪の平坂です先輩をお借りしますこれから授業じゃないのかな
あとそいつ保健室に連れてかなきゃなんねんだよ悪いけど
じゃあ私が代わりに連れて行きます先輩方は教室に戻ってもらって大丈夫ですから
Oh, good, we get away from Tetsuya and Asi. I've had enough of those two. I gotta say, I'm not like a huge fan of some of the side characters in this. Like, I don't know. I don't really care for Tetsuya. Asi, he's okay. Don't really care for Tetsuya as a friend character. I've definitely seen some better best friend characters, that's for sure. Giving a slight bow, Hirasaka started walking, pulling on my hand. The other two watched us leave, looking puzzled at Hirasaka's insistence.
トールとケイコちゃんって知り合いだったのか
今まで聞いたことなかったけど
They still looked taken aback, like they didn't know what was going on. Hirasaka, wait, where are we going? With me being pulled along by an underclassman from the annex building, we stood out quite a bit. But Hirasaka still didn't seem bothered by the people around us at all.
保健室です行かないとならないんでしょ
She was trying to tell me that's we needed to be alone. I obediently followed after her. We're good at following orders from cute girls. So, no surprise there. Being forced to sit on a bed by a female underclassman could be considered a reward depending on the person. I was never really into that sort of thing, but since this was the slightly sullen Hirasaka, I kind of understood. I like how he has to mention that. This is why they call you a pervert, because you say things like that, and that sounds like something a pervert would say. By the way, the doctor was there, but when Hirasaka told him we had something important to talk about, he went off somewhere to smoke. Okay. Was the school okay? I was still hurting for what Tetsuya did, so I at least wanted a compress, but it wasn't like I could get one out myself.
それで先輩一体どうなってるんですか
This is the first thing
誰も
Hirasaka
ハス
said.
さんのことを覚えていないんですか
In this dream, it's like Saki never existed. You remember Saki, don't you?
覚えています先輩こそちゃんと覚えてるんですか
Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning her. I remember probably better than anyone. I was confident about that, at least I hadn't forgotten anything about Saki.
そうですかまあそれは譲ってもいいです
Let me have it, that's not the point here. Or so I thought, but Hirasaka was more serious than usual. Even though she was always sighing, looking bored and uninterested, this Hirasaka was
ハスナ
desperate.
さんが最初からいなかった夢だって分かってるんですよねなのに先輩はどうしてのんきに学校になんて来てるんですか
Well, first of all, I don't think he believed it. Came to get you in Club Prez. That's right, I hadn't intended to come to school at first.
私もですか
It took me a moment to figure out where to start. Maia's responsible for this.
先輩の本当の妹さんですよねけどやったことって
Yet it seems I was unable to really part ways with her back then. So Saki went to settle things in my place, but she got caught instead, it seems. That is right, we did kind of have that whole thing where we kind of said goodbye to her, but you know, we always see how that goes. So they both kind of need to say goodbye. Like, for real. I think they both kind of... Well, Toru's, I felt like, was actually kind of a goodbye. Saki's was kind of half-hearted, and that's why we're still in this situation. Saki glared at me. I grew anxious thinking she was going to hit me, but she did nothing.
私がとやかく言えることじゃないんですよね
Now, I wouldn't blame you if you got mad at me. The situation was because of how pathetic I was. If she was worried about Saki, then she had the right to get mad at me.
そうですね頭にきますけどそれを先輩にぶつけるのはハスノさんを助けた後にします
She was pissed off, but I was relieved that she wasn't going to tear me a new one right this second.
それに 私たちを迎えに来たっていうのもありますし、
Saka nodded to
正
herself.
直一人で勝手に無茶するイメージがあったんですけど、そこは見直しました。
It wasn't our idea. Aha, why would I?
そんな無茶した後だったんだけどね。
Alice did say she was gonna, slip into school here. Boys suddenly cut in. When we looked towards the schoolyard, the window was open. Alice was leaning in. Alice, what are you
何
doing?
って後で忍び込んでやろうって言っておいたじゃない。
Yep. Alice slightly climbed in through the window. She could at least be a bit more careful considering she was in a skirt, although I didn't see anything this time. Yeah, that makes you sound like a pervert. You always have to mention stuff like that.
無茶した後ってど
Why
う
don't you
いう
just say she slipped in,
言ったままトールってば一人でマイヤに会ってボロボロになって逃げてきたんだから。
Hirosaka's gaze turned icy. She looked down on me like she was trying to decide what to do with me. She'll misunderstand if you say it like
じゃ
that.
あどういった経緯だったんですか？
In my dream, Saki and Maia switched places. When I realized that, I was immediately attacked.
なんとか逃げてきた後、一人でまた行こうとしたくせに。
Oh, you didn't have to tell her that. Alex ignored my complaint. Hirosaka's gaze grew stronger. I regretted it. That's why I came to get you in Club Press, as I said.
そうですね。怒るのはハスノさんを助けた後にするってさっき自分でも言いましたし、ただ相手は分かりましたし、もしも先輩があの子に負けて眠らされたとしても、ハスノさんを助けるついでに先輩のことも助けに行きますから。
Thank you.
トールも反省してるみたいだし、できれば協力した方がいいと思うけど。
Oh, so if I didn't feel bad about it, you wouldn't cooperate with me. Just because I'm trying to do the right thing, I'm trying to do it alone, because it's my problem, I'm trying not to involve you.
ええ。だけど一番協力する気がなかったのは先輩だったんですよね。
I agree with Alice that it would be better to have more help, but I also agree with Toru in the sense that he's trying to actually be a man. Whether that's going to actually be able to work or not, I don't know. He seems to do this in every route. He tries to do something by himself. He ends up needing help. I don't disagree with him trying not to involve everybody. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong on that one. But I like his idea of trying to settle his own problems himself, right? I think that's a good way to approach things. But there's also the element of, and where Alice comes in and is right, that there is some problems that you can't fix yourself. You do need help, and it's not a bad thing to ask for help on things. I mean, humans are social creatures. We rely on each other for a lot of things, right? I told you I changed my mind, said bluntly. Alice giggled.
ま、ともかくわざわざ稽古にはどうするか聞く必要もなかったみたいね。何の話ですか？トールってばサキちゃんを助けに行くかどうか事情を説明してから本人に決めてもらうとか言ってたのよ。
Yeah, I mean, they should actually have a say if they want to do
だ
that
っ
or
たら
not.
言うまでもありません。一人でも行きます。
I see. In that case, will you help me?
しょうがないですね。先輩がきちんと助けに行く気なら手伝ってあげます。
Okay, Miss Tsundere. Like, I guess I'll help you out. Felt so relieved, but
だ
then...
けど先輩、あの女も連れて行かないとダメなんですか？
Okay. Just get over it. It's Yayoi. Yayoi has been helpful, even though she sometimes doesn't outright tell us things. It's okay. Yayui's fine. Hey, weren't you saying something about cooperation being important? Wasn't that what she got mad at me
あ
for?
の人の場合、気まぐれで状況を引っかき回しますし、下手すると向こうにつく可能性もありませんか？
Hahaha, funny reference. I mean, she does sometimes join the other side, but it's always just to get the upper hand. I don't think Yayoi has ever done something where she purposely tried to screw us up, and it wasn't to help us win, you know? I don't think even Club President messed around in a way that got out of hand. Circumstances being what they were, she hadn't done anything that couldn't be reversed.
だけど時々、弥生がきっかけで大騒ぎになったのに、手綱が握れないって思うと放置する時あるよね。
I mean, her route was definitely interesting, and it would be interesting playing this and then going on to her route and seeing her just have a power trip, right? But I don't know. Like I said, it's not any different than what Maia necessarily has done, where she puts us in situations that are meant to kind of better us. I mean, I feel like Yayoi kind of did that too. I don't know. Either way, her route was awesome. So, I'm not going to fault her for anything. She's perfect in my eyes. Totally. Even so, I'm going to talk with Club Prez and ask her for help. Speak of the devil. The door slid open and Club Prez walked in wearing her honor student face. I think in some ways, Yayoi is scarier than Maia. I'll just throw that out. Then after looking around the infirmary, she closed the door behind her and suddenly returned to normal. Where did you come from? Were you planning to appear on cue? Or is it a dream? What happened to class? First period had started quite a while ago. I said I was going to the infirmary, but Hirosaka had been marked as absent or late. Oh yeah, as long as they had enough credits, they could graduate even if they only attended the mandatory classes like third and fourth period. Upper slightly lifted her cell phone. It seemed Asuya had texted her after that. Ah, felt bad for worrying her, but things would work out once the stream ended. And I was thinking that Club Prez walked over and sat next to me on the bed. Yes. Yes, I want both of your body pillows. I became uncomfortably aware of the scent of her usual perfume. Keiko's looking for any excuse not to work with her. Wait, Hirosaka. No, Hirosaka. I think we should hear her out. Hirosaka is being a little bit more insistent than usual. I don't know if they're trying to imply something with that. Alice, I looked confused, but Hirosaka didn't notice. Yeah, Hirosaka, why are you being so, uncooperative? I mean, she definitely, like, voices complaints sometimes, but I feel like this is, a little more than usual. Hirosaka seemed even more hostile towards Club Prez than usual, but something happened. Club Prez looked deeply annoyed. Hirosaka looked at Club Prez in surprise, but Alice and I had seen this coming. So, I know she has that other outfit. What if, like, plot twist, Yayoi is the main villain? And she has been the whole time. Like, she knows a lot more than she let on. I think that would be interesting. Like, if they pulled some kind of twist like that. Like, oh yeah. Usually, like, in these, I feel like the main villain isn't somebody you don't already know. Usually you'll get to a point where you find out, like, oh, the teacher role model was actually evil. Surprise, surprise. So I wonder if, like, our upperclassman senpai would actually be, like, the main villain, even though she had her own route and things like that. That would be quite interesting. Or Alice could be the main villain. I would find it interesting if it was someone close to us. Like, somebody we already knew. But they don't have to go that route either. I'd be totally okay with the main villain being someone we don't know. Because I don't know how that would work if Yayoi was the main villain, because she's technically confronted Maia before, so I don't think it could be her. I don't know. We already know that there's somebody that's, like, impersonating Maia, so I just don't know who that could be. On her phone, there was a text asking, "Do you know a girl called Saki?" After making sure I'd seen it, Club Prez closed her phone. Alice sighed. Yeah, I didn't know Keiko was so passionate about saving Saki. Hirosaka answered a little awkwardly. Alice's words caused Hirosaka's ears to turn bright red. Did she get close to the mark? Even if she hadn't been aware of it, maybe Alice made her realize it just now.
ほんとトールといい稽古といいどうして変なプライド持ってるのかな
I don't know. Everyone in this seems to have their own weird ideals. Like they stick to the weirdest sense of you know, if we want to call it pride that I've ever seen. Like they just have this moral obligation to do things in such a weird way. Like it's really conflicting for their personalities too. Like they want to do something, but they're like they can't, or I don't know. They have to think too much about it. I noticed that a lot. Hirosaka looked away from Alice and me, whether out of frustration or embarrassment, I couldn't tell. Like Toru's always so hesitant to get with one of the girls, even though he does like them. Like he has this weird conflicting. I don't know what prevents him from doing things sometimes.
この人が覚えていたの先輩もアリスさんも気づいてたんですか
Like I don't know if it's like anxiety. Like if that's the case, that makes sense. Because I mean I have anxiety. I definitely like freeze up sometimes when I'm, you know, displayed important decisions. Like I have to think about it a lot, and sometimes I overthink it. And you know, like I guess I do things like that. So I guess you could say that's probably what he's experiencing. I don't know though. Let's just say I wish I had Toru's problems, like just choosing between a bunch of beautiful girls. Like if that's my only problem in the world, then I was doing okay. Don't let my wife hear that. Anyways, well, you remember, and she said Alice's name, but I thought she might. Alice hadn't been in the dream where Maia switched places with Saki, so if she remembered Alice now, then it wouldn't be strange for her to remember Saki, and more importantly. Plus, I got the same sense that Club Prez was enjoying herself. I knew that it'd be best not to take Club Prez's words at face value when she was like
ま
that,
さか楽しんでなんてないわよ
as she says with a smile on her face.
弥生のそういうとこ稽古は嫌いなんだよ
Seeing that both Alice and I were exasperated, Club Prez drew her lips into an exaggerated pout. By the way, Club Prez, you said that today was vague, but did you also have a dream without Alice?
それも見たわあの一日はなかったことになってるみたいだけど結局何がどうなってるの
Hisaka, Club Prez, and probably Alice didn't know what was happening, so... Where do I start? You all remember the dream where everyone found out Saki and I were dating and there was a huge commotion, right? Told them what had happened until today. Alright, let's go save Saki. Enough talking, let's go do it. I want to get to the good part. They do a lot of talking in between. They gotta really figure things out. Like, I'm ready to go save Saki. I want to see some badass moments, you know? Then Alice was waking me up, but when I'd gotten that far, Alice and Hirosaka were giving me indescribable looks.
ちょっといい
What is it? Did you notice something?
うんマイヤがサキちゃんと入れ替わってた夢って私も見たあの日のことよねなんか全然夢っぽくないやつ
Yeah, what about it?
家に帰った後にサキちゃんとマイヤの入れ替わりに気づいたって言うけどどうやって気づけたの
Question caused me to freeze.
それ私も知りたい知っておけば同じことされた時に気づけるかもしれないし
I could tell Alice genuinely wanted to know, but from Club Prez, I sensed the same attitude she had when teasing Hirosaka a while ago. When I viewed her like that, it started to feel like she had noticed something and had a plan in the works, even though she was acting normally.
その日トールにとっては昨日の夜サキちゃんマイヤだけどはトールのとこ泊まりに行ったのよね
Hisaka seemed to realize it. She gave me an accusatory look. Broke into an awkward sweat.
トールどうしたのその時に何かされたの
Seemed that Alice hadn't realized yet. Club Prez was grinning and Hirosaka was giving me an icy look.
私もあの時入れ替わってるなんて全く気づかなかったしトールにしか気づかない何かきっかけがあったと思うんだけど気づいたのってする前それともした後
Oh no, I was unable to outright lie, but my silence answered for me. Then Alice finally understood.
まさかトールあのこと
It's my fault.
それハスノさんの前でも同じように言えますか
In time with Hirosaka's incredibly icy voice, the bell signaling the end of the first period rang. The doctor came back, and upon seeing the club Prez was there too, frowned a little. Let's go somewhere else, I said. Gosh, everything always gets turned back around on us just because we like to have sex, okay? Hey, the characters, they're just having some fun. You know, they were dating. They've known each other for a long time. It's not weird. Instead of returning to class, we left the school entirely. Would have stood out if we left as a group, so Hirosaki and I left together. Being outside, we found Club Prez and Alice, whom we left behind, waiting for us. How'd you get here before us?
アリスが扉出してくれたのよ。優等生が堂々とサボるわけにはいかないでしょ。
But why couldn't we just all go for the door?
わざわざそんなことしなくてもよかったんじゃないですか。
By the way, I left one of the guys I wasn't feeling well, and Hirosaki was escorting me. Oh, okay. So we had an excuse. That's fine. Forced me to accept that excuse. Also, Alice had disappeared before someone said something to her. It's just a dream, so you don't have to worry about your reputation, Club Prez.
弥生のはついでで、私がこれをうまく使えるか試したかっただけなんだけどね。
Alice tossed some keys around in one hand like they were beanbags. They jangled as they bounced in her
な
hand.
んかあっても、弥生が近くにいればすぐに帰ってこれるだろうしと思って。そうですか。
Hisaka replied like she didn't know what to say. Well then, Alice, can we get to where Saki is?
任せて。
Okay, good. Let's go. I'm ready. It was in confidence Alice pulled a new key out of her pocket. Then she stuck it in the side door next to the school gate. Didn't matter whether the size was correct. Once she turned the key, the door clicked open.
完璧。
Alice gave a self-satisfied smile.
なら、ここは私が行ってみるところかしら。
Do I trust you to go
気に
first?
なっているんですか。適材適所よ。アリスはこう言ってるけど、とんでもない夢に繋がってる可能性もあるわけだし。
I don't know, you're certainly best equipped to handle crazy. Alice expressed quiet shock over this, but Club Prez completely ignored her.
アリスが帰ってこないと次の扉は作れないし、トールは一応主役だから、マイヤなりサキちゃんのとこに送り届けないとならないでしょ。だったら私でもいいんじゃないですか。だってケイコ、変なとこ行ったら一人で帰ってこられるか怪しいじゃない。
Hirosaki was certainly the least adept at handling dreams among us. She looked like she wanted to refute it, but she must have known it was true because she said nothing.
というわけで行ってくるわ。あ、なかなか戻ってこなかったらほっといてくれていいから。
Club Prez casually opened the door and went in. Senior on the other side of the door was vague, but I couldn't really make it out. But
あら、
as soon as Club Prez went through the door instead of disappearing, she was standing on the other side as if it were a normal door.
何をふざけてるんですか。ちょっと待って、これは別にふざけてるわけじゃなくて、アリス、入ったらここに出てきたんだけど。いや、ちょっと待って、私きちんとサキちゃんのいるところに合わせた鍵作ったってば。
Judging by her earlier self-satisfied smile, it wasn't hard to believe she was confident in her ability to fabricate keys.
どうせどんなところに繋がっても行くのはこの人ですし、新しい鍵を試させるのはどうですか。
Hey, what are they implying here?
なんか私捨て駒みたいになってない？適材適所なんでしょ。私じゃ一人だと帰ってこられるか怪しいですから。
Prez looked like she wanted to object but held her tongue.
じゃあこれかな。さっきは自信あったんだけどな。
Alice searched her pocket and pulled out a new key. She removed the previous key from the door and threw it away before inserting a new key. Another click as the door unlocked.
釈然としないけど、もう一度行ってくるわね。
Seeming unconvinced, Club Prez walked through the door. Then the heavy door closed with a clank.
行った。見つかりそうな泥棒が言いそうなセリフですね。
Hirosaki made it sound like she was an expert. But that really is a sign that it's going to fail, isn't it? Before Alice could protest, with a heavy clink, the door opened and Club Prez returned.
ここはさっき私がいたところとよく似た平行世界的な夢なのかしら。それとも。
No, it's the same one. It's where you left from originally. Alice and Club Prez both heaved a sigh. So, is this supposed to say that, like, we can't reach her? Or is this supposed to say that we're already around her? Like, I'm confused.
なんでかな。今まで鍵使えばあの子の案内する夢だろうがなんだろうが乱入できたのに。
As Alice took out the keys she just made, she grumbled about how she really felt like this one would work.
もしかしたらこの夢にいるんじゃないんですか。
Possible. Then why? That would explain why she ended up back here when she tried to go to the dream where Saki
だったら
was.
サキちゃんでもマイヤでもいいからいる場所に直接飛べる鍵って作れる？それはテンション次第かな。
Alice searched her pocket and pulled out a new key. She inserted it into the door once again, but this time the key refused to turn all the way.
あれ？鍵が合わない。折れた。
She's so freaked out. That of the key broke off. The shaft was stuck inside the key. Also, the door is now stuck.
これどうするんですか？私に言われても困るってば。
Well, it wasn't like we could do anything about the broken key.
アリスの鍵は頼りにならないし、サキちゃんの居場所でも探してみる？でも私の鍵が使えないくらいガードされてるんじゃ、普通に探しても見つからないと思うな。
Alice seemed a little dejected, probably because her one special skill, which had always worked before, had now been taken away from her. Her whole purpose is gone.
そもそもこの夢にいるとも限りませんよね。そうなのよね。トール？どうしたの？何か考えでもあるの？
I do. I wonder if I can do it. No, I'm sure I can.
何？なんかいいアイデアでもあるの？
I'll go to a dream where Saki is. The other three looked at me blankly.
だから今それをやろうとして失敗したじゃない。
I said that poorly. I didn't mean using one of your keys to got me preparing a dream like that here. Hisaka still didn't seem to get it, but Club Prez apparently noticed what I was planning.
トールが自分で自分の夢を用意して、そこに本物のサキちゃんがいることにするってことよね。
Gosh, this is about to get confusing, isn't it? So we're gonna create a dream within a dream that, like, brings her to us.
そんなことできるんですか？
Kind of like playing Clue. Should be able to.
そんな無茶な夢の改ざんなんてしたら、それこそ夢と現実が混ざって起きられなくなっちゃうんだっていつも言ってるでしょ。
So, back to my theory that I had last video. I was talking about, how we might already be in a dream. We might have been in a dream since the forest. Can I interpret that as, like, maybe we already mixed up reality and dreams a long time ago? Remember there was that whole thing that happened kind of before we, entered into the story? Like how he kind of grew up, you know, after that, kind of thinking that Maia was still there. And then it went away for a while, and then it came back, and now we're here. What if he's already been doing that? What if that's happened since, like, you know, the beginning of everything that happened? I won't have to take it that far to do this. Alice aggressively pressed closer to me, but I got her to calm down.
はい、アリス、ストップストップ。なんか自信ありげだけど、トールはどうするつもり？
I nodded. For now, give us some sleeping pills, no Prez. Held out my hand. Yes, the solution to everything is drugs. Perfect. Nothing could go wrong. We hadn't been to the dream room for a while now. Looked the same as it ever had.
ここに来るのもずいぶん久しぶりな気がするわ。
It has kind of been a while.
最後に来たのっていつでしたっけ？
Everyone in their lewd outfits. They'd received sleeping pills from Club Prez and were taking a nap. Then we all came to this room. By the way, we were sleeping in my apartment. Thanks to the commotion on New Year's, Club Prez was wary of Alice and made her sleep on the sofa. Club Prez and Hirosaka slept in the bed together, albeit reluctantly, and I was lying in the kotatsu.
私が何したっていうのか。自分のその大きな胸に聞きなさい。
Ask your big chest! Hey, I don't want to hear that from the other person who has a big chest. And looking at it this way, from this angle, yours look way bigger, Yayui's. Even though, if you look at other angles, Alice's look really huge from the side.
自分のが大きいくせに。弥生に会うまでは結構自信あったんだから。
Oh my gosh. The two big-breasted characters are fighting. Now isn't the time to be talking about that. Club Prez didn't seem to want to touch on that subject either. I had the feeling she was trying to put either me or Hirosaka between her and Alice. Alice must have not remembered what happened when she was drunk because she was having a hard time accepting this. But Alice, it's your own fault.
ハスノさんがいなくて、あの子もいなくても、ここは変わってませんね。
Hirosaka picked up her guitar, which had been lying at one end of the room. The teapots on the table were steaming the way they always did, and there were just as many sweets as usual. There was a sweet scent of roasted honey, as well as the smell of tea and sweets. The deep forest scent that used to be mixed in and was gone.
わざわざここに集まってどうするんですか？
I told you, I'm going to prepare a drink that has Saki here. I also prepared tea for everyone as she watched us. I picked up a nearby scone and munched on it.
トールにもできるの？
Herpress folded her arms. She probably understood what I was planning. I can. I am her brother, after all. Upon hearing that, it seemed that the other two realized what I was going to do because they let out a gasp. Alice also seemed to forget she was pouring tea and managed to spill some on the table. Ignoring her panic, I continued. Just like Maia did before, I'm going to guide all of you to that sort of dream. Of course, I'll be going there too. I could do it. Of course I could. So long as I believed, then I'd be able to do it.
それはどんな夢なのかしら。あの子がやってたのはみんなの望みを歪んでいても叶える夢を見せること。望まない夢は見られない。
And it's simple. I'll just go to the sort of dream that I wish for.
もしも歪まされたり現実が混ざってしまったらどうするんですか。
Saki seemed doubtful rather than worried that a switch might take place. The switch was what had happened to Saki's wish to remove her sister from my side. Remove my sister from my side. I realized that maybe that was what Maia was doing. I don't think it'll be a problem if reality mixes in. I intend to get Saki back regardless of whether it's a dream or reality. I wouldn't change what I did. In fact, it'd probably be less effort if reality was mixed in. But even as I said this, Alice is giving me a worried look.
夢を頼ったり利用したりして、もしもそれが当たり前になってしまったり、抗えなくなってしまったりすれば。
Don't worry about it. Alice, it'll be okay. So it's like an addiction. Yeah, pretty much.
もっと重症。それが必要になっちゃう。夢の中じゃなければ生きられなくなっちゃう。
I understand what she's saying. It's like, when you do something so often that it becomes your reality, right? If you're so used to, like, fantasy being your norm, it will become the reality, in a way. She's just talking about, you know, being in dreams, having things that aren't realistic happening. You're just gonna confuse reality as being the dream. Because it's like, how come I can't, you know, fly, right? Like, in reality, you can't fly. So in the dream, I can always fly. Why can't I fly in reality? You start to mix them up and think one's real over the other. I get what she's saying. It's like I would have been unable to live outside of a dream without Maia until Saki saved me. I mean, what other option do we have? Because I understand how reckless it is. I can do it. If I leave Saki, then she won't be able to wake up. So there was no reason for me to hesitate. This time I'm gonna save Saki from a dream. She doesn't have to have a happy dream because dreams are only dreams. Saki was, after all, the one who taught me that. I knocked on the doors that we always came through to enter this dream. Naturally, there was no answer, but I felt like this would work. When I turned around, here's Saki got a resigned look on her face. Compress had a serious one for once, and Alice just looked worried. I'm gonna prepare the stage of the dream where we go to get Saki back now. I had said that a dream was like a stage, so I was following her lead. We all be going up on stage.
仕方がないので主役も譲ってあげます。ま、脇役が目立っちゃってもしょうがないわよね。
Both took my hand, and I used my other hand to turn the doorknob. Alice seemed a little hesitant.
夢は夢。ちゃんとサキちゃんを助けたら、その時は。
Then what? She sighed and seemed to give up, trying to warn me. She took the hand that the other two were holding.
サキちゃんに気づかなかったとはいえ、あの子とエッチしちゃったこと、きちんと謝んないとダメだよ。
Oh gosh, that's what we're held up on here. Eh? You're gonna bring that up now?
なるほど。がぜんやる気が湧いてきました。
Hirosaka.
なるほど。そうね。そのためにはまずサキちゃん助けないとなんないよね。
Even you, Club Prez. But the three of them were firmly holding my hand. Well then, shall we make our way to the stage? I'm sure there was a wry smile on my face. I turned the knob and opened the doors. A black void of nothingness was all we could see beyond the doors, and we stepped out. We fell into the darkness. Wouldn't it be the first time we did something with our sister? Bad end. Looking forward to seeing something that will happen. I'm really looking forward to it. Oni-chan is really serious about this. I'm glad. Maia was playing the role of the villain, but it was to face Toru to be serious. I burst out laughing at the sight of Saki seemingly appearing grateful. Don't go easy on him. I'll oppose him with all my strength. Don't think someone who might crush you. Whatever I'll to try, I can't wait to see. Or I'll really steal Saki-chan away. Okay, so this is her, like, kind of talking about it. Maia was playing the role of the villain, but it was to force Toru to be serious. Maia burst out laughing at the sight of Saki seemingly appearing grateful. Okay, are they working together? Is that what I'm reading? Saki and Maia. I feel like something's missing, huh? Pepper's murmured as she took a bite from a school store sandwich and drank her instant coffee. The heck? We're back in this room. As a screening of a movie, the window showed Toru and the others stepping out through the doors.
お兄ちゃんってば本気なんだ。ねえ、サキちゃん。
Maia, who'd been watching the scene with her hand on the window, turned around. Oh gosh, she's back in distress. Saki was sitting on the bed looking wary of
ど
Maia.
うしたの？お兄ちゃんが迎えに来たのに、そんな顔して。
In response, Saki bit her lip. Until now, she had been sleeping and having a happy dream without thinking of anything. Then she found out it was a dream and she'd been immersed in it without realizing that. As she learned that it had all been prepared by the person standing in front of her.
何がした？私はみんなに幸せになってほしいの。幸せ？こんなの幸せな夢じゃなかったなんて言うのかしら？それはだけどあんなの本当の幸せじゃない。どうして？夢で幸せになるのはいけないことなのかしら？
Yeah, I think in reality, some people only do find happiness in dreams. Maia walked up and reached a hand out towards Saki's face. Saki was unable to brush her away, so Maia stroked her from her cheek to her throat. Her fingers were so cold that it seemed hard to believe there was any blood running through them.
私はあの森から帰れなかった。それでもお兄ちゃんは私に会いたいと願ってくれて、そして夢の中で会うことができた。それっていけないことなのかしら？それじゃあ兄さんにトールちゃんが私の前からいなくなっちゃう。だからサキちゃんの夢にもお兄ちゃんはきちんといるわ。会いたいって願った通りに。お兄ちゃんが私に会いたいって思ったのと同じ、それが本物だと思えるようにね。
I love how she says that, because it's really twisted. Like, he wanted to see his sister, so here's this version of her, this imposter, if you will, that seems like the real thing, because he wanted something that seemed like the real thing, and the dream was the only way he could get that. I don't know. Very interesting how they did that. It's like, okay, this isn't actually Maia, because, you know, this is a dream. This is his figment of the imagination of Maia. It's an imposter, somebody in the stream who's trying to be Maia for him. I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I'm really wondering to see, like, is she just some imagination? Or is she actually somebody playing the role of Maia in his dreams? Maia pulled her hand away behind her in the window. Toru and the others were melting into the dream like Maia did when she disappeared.
サキちゃんはお兄ちゃんにずっとひどいことをしてきたわよね。
Yeah, Maia, I actually have to give you this one, because Saki did something bad too. Saki tried to replace his sister, and clearly that has not gone so well. I don't know, because, like, let's think about this situation. So he went for this traumatic thing. She never made it out of the forest. Now, like I said, I don't know if we've been dreaming ever since then, or how that works. That's just my new theory. I always come up with new theories. But, okay, let's just say, in reality, never came out of the forest, didn't know what happened to her. This is his close sister, you know, probably one of the most important people in his life. And then he was traumatized ever since then. Ended up going into the dream world, kind of recreating her, or she ended up finding him. I don't know how that would work, but he used that to kind of cope with it. But at the same time, his best friend tried to replace his sister as the most important person. She tried to act like one, and tried to maybe distract him, I guess, from his trauma. I feel like this whole thing only ended up making him realize that he's not over his trauma. Like, he never tackled it, never got closure. He's still suffering from it to this day. And I mean, I should be a little bit nicer to Toru, because he does have a lot of things that kind of happen behind the scenes, things that we didn't really get to see for ourselves too much, just things that we kind of heard about in the past. But he's got all this going on, and Saki kind of fed into it a little bit. I don't know if that was the right decision. Maybe in some way she helped him through it, but at the same time, maybe she also kind of prolonged it.
会おうと思えば 意地悪だわ。
Well, then we couldn't. Yeah, and then Saki was just trying to help explain to him, like, hey, this is a dream. That's not really her, which was the right thing to do. But at the same time, she was trying to replace her. Like, this whole situation, this whole trauma is just focused on Maia, right? Everything is so focused on Maia. And it's just not been resolved.
だってマイアちゃんはもう死んでるでしょ。そう言えるのは自分じゃないからでしょ。
Yeah, but through dreams, it doesn't really seem like Maya's dead to him. Which is interesting, because Toru always acts like he has a really good understanding of dreams being dreams. I think this may be his downfall. The fact that he still thinks of Maia as real in these dreams, whether he wants to or not. Maybe that's part of why Alice keeps warning him, like, hey, if you go going into dreams, you keep altering it, you're going to soon this is going to become your reality. He sneered
例え
gleefully.
ばお兄ちゃんがいなくなってしまって同じようなことになっても、サキちゃん、そんなの夢、幻、現実、嘘、本当、どれが正しいのかしら。どれが一番幸せにしてくれるのかしら。
It just depends on what we're talking about. There's a lot of people who live a lie and they think that they're happy. I personally don't buy into that. Because ultimately you'll find out one day that it's not true, and then you'll deny it. You want to live in your own fantasy. I don't like living in a fantasy. I like knowing the truth. I like knowing hard truths. Because at least with a hard truth, I can try to go and make it right. If I'm living a lie, though, I mean, I can't do that. I don't know what's truth. I don't know what's reality. Maya's face is almost completely covered in darkness. Saki could barely make out her smile.
本当は帰ってきたのは私だけ。お兄ちゃんはあの森から帰ってきていない。
Heck, this is some major gaslighting.
サキちゃんが信じていたものはそんな現実から目をそらして作り上げた夢の出来事だったのかも。そうだったら同じことを言えるかしら。嘘よ。だって私はきちんと覚えてる。お兄ちゃんだって夢の中での出来事はきちんと覚えていられるわ。そんなもの証明にはならないのよ。
You know, I'm actually going to give her some credit here because she keeps erasing his memory. So clearly he doesn't remember everything that's been happening in the dreams.
嘘よ。そんなの嘘かもしれない。だけど本当にもなるかも。最初から本当かも。
Maia continued giggling.
それどころか本当の妹はサキちゃんだったのかも。本当の幼馴染は私の方だったのかも。
Okay, that's some gaslighting. You guys literally have the same hair.
だからそんなわけがないじゃない。ええ、サキちゃんはそう思っている。そう信じたい。だってそれが幸せなんでしょ。お兄ちゃんは私に生きていてほしかったのに。けれどそれじゃあ都合が悪いからサキちゃんはそれを否定し続けた。
Saki, just turn your brain off right now. Just turn it off because you're not going to understand any of this. This is all gaslighting. I wasn't blaming Saki. In fact, she seemed to be enjoying
だって
herself.
それがそうしてほしかった。つまりサキちゃんの望んだことなんでしょ。
Okay, now you're gaslighting her into thinking that that she wanted you dead. That's not the case at all. He was right. No, she's not. It wasn't because it was reality or because it was the right thing to
お
do.
兄ちゃんは私に取られたくなかった。たとえお兄ちゃんが私を選んだとしても望んでいたとしても嫌だった。自分のことを見てほしかったんでしょ。だから夢に逃げさせなかったんでしょ。ええ。
Oh my gosh. No, Saki. No, you're smarter than this.
兄さんにトールちゃんにそっちに行ってほしくなかった。だからマヤちゃんは死んだって言った。何度だって言った。その場所だって奪った。私がいるからって大丈夫でしょってそう言った。だってそうしなきゃ。
I don't believe it.
きっとお兄ちゃんはこっちに来ていた。幸せな夢を見たままもう二度と目を覚まさなかったでしょうね。
This is a classic case of telling just enough truth in there that you can make the lie seem like a truth. You know, you're kind of sugarcoating it. You can't sugarcoat a pile of crap. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't think Saki felt that way. I think it's true that Saki wanted to be with Toru. I don't think she was willing to totally burn her connection with Maia to do that, because that's not what she wanted. I think she liked Maia too. I think she wanted Maia around and felt sad about what happened. I think that though she's kind of similar to Toru in the sense that she never really figured out her feelings, never really got that sorted out. Uh, and here we are. Like everybody just has a bunch of trauma and shit that they never went to counseling for, never really got sorted out what was reality and what was, a dream. And then just other shit started happening, and it's just you're just left with a pile of trauma that you have no idea how to deal with now, especially because this Maia here is just gaslighting you into really making it worse. Saki looked out the window at Toru and the others completely disappeared. A familiar dark night sky was all that remained. It was the same night sky as when Toru and Maia had disappeared.
知ってるでしょ。私もお兄ちゃんのこと大好きなの。兄弟だけど、ただお兄ちゃんだから好きなんじゃないの。困らせて、愛して、愛されて、誰にも負けないくらい、サキちゃんにだって本当は渡したくないくらい大好きなの。知ってた。それに私だって同じよ。本当、最近はマイヤちゃんのおかげで困ってる兄さんも可愛いと思っちゃうくらい。
Lucky cannot lose in regards to her feelings for
だから
Toru.
お兄ちゃんに今度こそ選ばさせてあげるわ。
How does this conversation keep getting worse? I had the pretty night sky at her back.
私たちは二人ともお兄ちゃんが欲しい。選ばさせてあげるって。
I looked in the night sky that Toru had disappeared into.
夢も現実ももう同じものだって分かってるでしょ。それに私もサキちゃんも同じだわ。
I don't know. I feel like what Maya's done is she stabbed Saki, gaslighted her into thinking she deserved it, and now she's just stabbing it in her further and further. Maya was dream, Saki was reality. Maya had died so that she could live in a dream, but she couldn't appear in reality. And because Saki was alive, she couldn't remain in a dream forever. What was waiting for her was a future in which she couldn't return to reality, and Toru could only choose one of them.
そんなの当然トールちゃんなら私を選んでくれるはず。ええ、そうね。だけど
Maya
お
giggled.
兄ちゃんがここにサキちゃんを迎えに来るまでに心変わりは起こさないといいわね。そんなわけない。トールちゃんは私を助けるために来てる。そうけれど私はお兄ちゃんからきちんとお別れされなかったからここに残ってるのよ。
I don't know. She's saying that because Toru can't ever really truly get rid of her, that she's gonna win. Like, she wins because he can't give up her, and he has to give up her in order to get with Saki. Saki stood up from the bed. Instead of moving towards Maya, she headed towards the exit.
どこに行くの？兄さんのところよ。こっちから迎えに行ってやるんだから。
Saki looked back to see if Maya was going to stop her, but Maya hadn't moved.
それじゃあ行ってらっしゃい。また後でね。
Maya waved as she giggled like always, while Saki turned her back on her and ran from the room. Having seen Saki off, Maya heaved a sigh into the empty room.
お兄ちゃんがきちんとどっちか選ばないからこんなことになってるのよ。まったく。
I don't think this is intended to be funny, but this is really true. This is just it. If none of this would be happening if he wasn't so indecisive. He's trying to keep both of them alive. Turned her back to the window again.
先生見てるといいわ。私たちのお兄ちゃんは今度こそきちんと選んでくれるもの。
I mean, to be fair, he has tried to get rid of Maya, though. But she seems to just pop up again. Who is she talking to? Maya smiled and leaned against the window. Her body passed through the glass as though it were made of water and fell into the void. She looked at the pitch black night sky. I was probably looking at the sky just like this that night too, she
覚
thought.
えてもいないし知らないけどね。
Oh. So am I right that it is the real Maya? She's just being controlled like a pawn by somebody? That's kind of what I thought originally, and then they kept saying this is an imposter, this isn't the real Maya. I don't know. Whoa, after we were falling through the doors, we experienced a sensation similar to falling asleep. Next thing I knew, I was standing in a corner of a large party venue. Is this where we came for Christmas? Huh, I don't think we hear that music track too often. Kind of eerie. Emerald City Tower building. It was the largest building in Tsukio City and was fancy enough that it was almost like a castle. Looked like a party was going on. There were lots of people dressed up. They were talking amicably, and like before, their faces were indistinct. Looked around trying to figure out what kind of dream this was.
あ、ごめんなさい。失礼するわ。と。よかったわ。きちんと同じところに出られたみたいね。
Said Claire Perez before weaving through the crowd of people towards me. She was wearing her usual dream outfit, which looked completely inappropriate here, but no one around seemed to care. Alice spotted me as she ran at me at... What did I didn't... There's no... Ran's not even in this word. Alice spotted me as she and Hirosaka also moved for the crowd towards us. So we were wearing their party outfits like before.
何ですかその格好は。さあ、この夢ってトールが用意したものだし、趣味じゃないの？
Hey, this is what he's into. The other two gave me icy looks. I wasn't thinking of the details, so it's not like everything is the way I wanted.
つまり意識せずに望んだレベルの趣味ですか。
Ah, no good. It seemed like I failed in explaining because the stares seemed to grow even more painful.
で、さきちゃんのいる夢って言ったけど、結局これどんな夢なの？
I don't know. At my honest response, Club Perez grabbed my shoulders with a gentle smile on her face. Even though she wasn't strong, I could feel her fingers digging into my skin.
どういう意味よ。この夢のホストなんでしょ？大見駅ってさきちゃんに会いに行くって言ったわよね。なのに、どうしてさきちゃんがいないのよ。
It's different from how I planned it. Either my mental image failed
こ
or...
の子の横やりが入ったか。ほら、前に私がトールの夢にやったみたいに。私たちが全員トールの妹になっちゃった時みたいに？
Oh no, wasn't that such a wonderful dream? Alice nodded in response to Club Perez's
それ
question.
を今度は妹さんがやったかも。そういうことですか。確かにあの子ならその辺慣れてそう。というか、誰よりもうまくできそうだものね。
Suddenly, everyone around us started murmuring. When I looked in the direction everyone else was, Takara-san had appeared on the
本
stage.
日はお嬢様の誕生日にお集まりいただきありがとうございます。
There was a round of applause.
きちんとさきちゃんのとこには来れてたみたいだね。
I was relieved both with the fact that I'd gotten us to where I wanted to go, and also that Club Perez had released her grip on my shoulders. That's good. While Takara-san was greeted by the party guests, Club Perez suddenly reached for something in her cleavage.
何をしてるんですか？
Ignoring Hirosaka's icy stare, she's had a lot of icy stares this episode. Club Perez pulled out an envelope. It looked like she was holding an invitation to this
パーテ
party.
ィーの趣旨が分かれば、このくらいは用意できるわよね。
Alice peered at the letter from over Club Perez's shoulder.
さきちゃんに直接プレゼントをする時間があるのね。
I pulled out another invitation from my pocket and saw that the party schedule had been written down. It seemed that Saki hadn't asked for it, but everyone was so eager to give her presents that they set up a time for people to do so.
誕生日にお祝いのプレゼント？なんか聞いたことがあるような。
それではお嬢様、どうぞ。
As she was speaking, Saki appeared on stage. As soon as Saki, who was wearing her party dress from before, appeared on stage, everyone greeted her with applause.
そういえば、トールはこういうパーティーに来ても追い出されないのね。
How masochistic would I have to be driven out of my own dream where I came to see
けど
Saki?
高原さんには目の敵にされていますよね。
Of course. Can't change that in a dream. I normally get invitations to these kind of celebrations. Then again, Takara-san hadn't seemed to know quite how to treat me since Saki and I started going out. It seemed to depend on what kind of attitude I ended up
そ
taking.
れで、意外にあっさりさきちゃんのいるところに来られたけど、これからどうするの？
Maybe we can take her with us somehow. That's optimistic. But even if we caught Saki here, the dream wouldn't end. Besides, there's no guarantee that this Saki was the real one, At the same time, the preparations for introducing the guests and giving presents were well underway.
高原さん、兄さんたちとお話ししてもいいかしら。
ええ、構いません。あそこに皆さんいらっしゃいますね。
Takahara-san gave in surprisingly easily. Saki stood up from her special guest seat and walked over to us. And as soon as she saw my face close up, she looked relieved. You're Saki, aren't you?
ええ、マヤちゃんじゃないわ。
I feel like that's what Saki would say if she was actually Maia. I was relieved to hear this. I wasn't completely sure, but this Saki certainly felt real. Saki gave him a mischievous smile.
それで、兄さんたちは私にどんなプレゼントを用意してくれたのかしら。
Well, this wasn't the real Saki, or at least the Saki had been consumed by the dream. Needed some opportunity to wake her up. Maybe we could use a present for that somehow. Just then.
冷たいわ。私、サキちゃんとは一番のお友達だと思ってたのに。
Somebody else invited themselves.
呼んでくれないだなんて。
Voice caused all of us to quickly look around. Maia? I looked towards the direction of the voice, towards the entrance doors, and saw Maia standing there by herself, wearing her usual dream outfit. Rare that we see her in anything else besides her dream outfit. Like, and occasionally we see her in the school uniform, but faceless guests had already faded into the background, looked more like human-shaped shadows. The only people here with any sense of presence was all of us.
マイアって内藤君の亡くなった妹さんじゃないんですか？どうして？
How does she recognize her? Did she know her? I mean, Takara-san's probably been with them a long time. I guess she would.
あら、誰が死んだなんて言ったの？私は、ほら、こうしてここにいるじゃない？
She's such a troll when she says stuff like that. Maia placed a hand on her chest as if emphasizing the obvious. What, the obvious fact that she has a flat chest? I mean, what are you trying to imply here?
わざわざ何をしに来たんですか？
Hirasaka stepped in front of Saki, me eyeing Maia warily. Maia seemed completely unconcerned as she walked towards us. That's her usual
トー
demeanor.
ルがここまで来たものだから慌てて来たのかしら？ええ、そうね。慌てたわけじゃないけど、いい機会だと思ってお邪魔させてもらってるわ。
Good opportunity.
いい機会って一体どんなつもりなのかな？
She obviously wants to party with us. How nice of you, Maia. You can certainly party with us. Did you bring a gift? Still hesitant when dealing with Maia, but Alice ended up asking a question for
さ
me.
きちゃんは私がどういうつもりなのか知ってるわ。さっきそのことをお話ししたもの。
Saki grabbed my hand and squeezed it. Saki, what did you and Maia talk about?
兄さんに私かマヤちゃんか選ばせるって言ってたわ。は？何それ？トールはとっくにサキちゃんを選んだじゃない。
That's what he says.
それは私がいない時にでしょ？
Maia giggled. I could distinctly smell the scent of sweet roasted honey. That darn honey gets us every time. It seemed like this time everyone had noticed it, not just me, and their expressions all changed when the strong smell drifted over. Maia, I love Saki. I said to Maia clearly I couldn't change this, but Maia was still
知っ
smiling.
てるわ。だったらお兄ちゃん、その気持ちを大事にしていないとダメよ。
What is she going to do?
でないと、きっとまた私のところに来ちゃうから。先輩とハスノさんを甘く見てるんですか？いいえ、そんなことはないわよ。だけど、あなたよりは知ってるの。
Wow, damn.
それでもお兄ちゃんは弱いのよ。それで選ばせるつもりって結局何をしに来たの？まさか本当にパーティーに呼んでもらえなくて寂しかっただけかしら。
Despite what she said, there was no hostility behind club presence, whereas she was talking to Maia as though she were a friend. Yeah, Maia's our friend, guys. She just wants to party.
ええ、呼んでもらえなくてとても寂しかったわ。だからついでに意地悪をしに来たの。
I came to be mean.
だけどここはトールの夢だよ。呼ばれていないあなたが好き勝手できると思ってるのかな？
Oh yeah, I think she can.
ええ、これが夢のお話通りだったらいくらでもできるんじゃないかしら。
Oh no, what is she
こんな
doing?
風にね。
Maia raised her hand and the surrounding plants all began to stir. What do you mean, the story of the dream?
私もさきちゃんも大好きで何度もお兄ちゃんに読んでもらったあのお話、もしかして覚えていないかしら？それとも気づいてないのかしら？
Saki looked at the surrounding plants growing thorns and gasped.
まさかマイアちゃん茨姫
Sleeping Beauty, oh no. Instead of nodding, Maia gave a bright
お
smile.
兄ちゃんのいないところで話したわよね。どっちがお姫様かキスで起こされたらきっと幸せでしょうねって茨姫ってことはまさかハスノさんがお姫様
It looked like only Club President realized what that meant.
誕生日に呼んでもらえなかった魔女はお姫様に呪いをかけるのよね。そんな役私以外にできないでしょ。
Okay, well then how does this benefit you? At the time Maia said this, it was too late, we couldn't make it in time.
サキちゃんどうしたの？
Lucky was holding her finger, a small amount of blood dripped from her hand.
好きにさせないようにしてたのに。夢の話そのものは簡単には変えられないのよ。ね、まだプレゼントをしていない招待客のあなた。そんな、それじゃ選ばせてあげる。お兄ちゃんがこれ。兄さん、私。
お嬢様、目を覚ましてください。お嬢様。
Before I had a chance to respond to Saki falling over, Takara-san had rushed to her side and caught her. Sleeping Beauty, Little Briar Rose. It had various names, so it was a story I'd often read to Saki and Maia when we were little, at their request. The sequence was different, but the princess fell asleep. Don't tell me you plan to make everyone wait 100 years until the prince comes.
それでもいいけど、私たちは眠っていることなんて起きているのと同じでしょ?
Kind of profound. Sleeping is the same as being awake in this world. True, all we had to do was go inside Saki's dream now. I was sure we were now capable of
なん
that.
か試してあげる。選ばせてあげる。お兄ちゃんが本当にサキちゃんを好きでいられるか、それと本当に好きなのか。
Gosh, Maia is so slippery. Like, she ended up making her fall asleep, so we have to go even further into the dream, into a dream in which she can control. Like, that's how she wins. Or, you know, tries to win. What did you do, Maia? What are you planning? Maia just simply
夢
giggled.
は現実になるの。
The
そ
giggler.
の夢はお兄ちゃんの好きなようにしていいわ。
She laughed joyfully as she said
サ
this.
キちゃんは今、お兄ちゃんとの思い出を夢に見ているの。いいことも悪いことも。
So, like, what happened with Yayoi?
私はあの森から帰ってこれなくて、今までに責任とか甘えとかいろいろあったんでしょ。そういうの全部なしにしてあげるわ。
I'm assuming this is going to be a dream where he has his little sister again. And then, also has Saki. They're both competing.
責任とか惰性とかそういったものじゃなくて、
I don't
そんな
know.
の関係なくお兄ちゃんはサキちゃんをきちんと好きでいられるのか、それとも。
There's a cruel look at Maia's face, far crueler than I've ever seen from her. But her smile also somehow looked like she was crying.
そうなったらお兄ちゃんはやっぱり私を選ぶのか、とても楽しみね。
Nightmare flowers sprouted and bloomed all around
こら、
us.
待ちなさい。
Alice cut the stems of the flowers with her heart-shaped shears and tried to catch up to Maia,
サ
but
キちゃんと一緒に待ってるわ。きちんとどうするか今度こそ決めて
A
から
real
会い
decision,
に
she
行ってね。
says.
お兄ちゃん。
before Alice could reach her, Maia had disappeared. Our surroundings were covered in thorns, and Saki and Takahara-san had fallen asleep. The only ones moving were the four of us.
逃がした
Alice sounded
ー。ハ
frustrated.
スノさん、
Hirosaka crouched down next to Saki.
何を考えているの？
I clapped his ass, probably because I didn't seem disturbed. If this is Sleeping Beauty like Maia says, then the princess can be saved. That's right, the story had a happy ending.
だけど、夢の通りになぞれば、夢にとらわれるかもしれない、だったっけ？
夢は何でも自由になる。夢をたどってそれを認めれば、それだけその人はその夢が自分にとっての本物になる。
It's always interesting that she puts it that way, because what's to say that because I can't do anything, I know that this isn't reality, and I know it's just a dream? I guess, is it because you become too comfortable with it? We accepted the nightmares everyone had before now, then they would have become reality. If I went through the Sleeping Beauty dream and accepted that it might become reality for me, even so, I'm gonna get Saki. Also crouched down next to the sleeping Saki. I felt bad, but I had to move Takahara-san over a little. She's a tough person. I hadn't been violent with her, so she'd probably forgive me.
茨姫って確か魔女だか悪い妖精の呪いは変えられるんじゃないでしたっけ。だけど呪いは解けなかったけれどまだ祝福していなかった12人目が永遠の眠りからは覚めさせてくれる。
I was remembered as though reading from a picture
た
book.
だ原点だったら続きがあるし他の解釈をしてるお話もある。トールたちが見たのはどれかな。
I think it was the usual one you heard, but there was also a time when we saw a play of it when we were little. We'd gone to see it with our families when we were small because Maia and Saki liked it so
どっ
much.
ちにしても王子様が助けに行くお話か。となると王子様に頑張ってもらわないとならないわね。ここでまさか先輩一人に任せるつもりですか。
I'll figure something out, I started to say, but it felt stupid. There's still the final blessing. There was still one more thing we could do, one way we could change the dream in line with the story the way that Maia had done. That way was how Maia prevented Club Prez and Hirosaka from defending Saki. That rule had to still be in
まだ
effect.
プレゼントをしてない招待客のあなたってあの子も言ってたけどそれのこと。
I nodded and reached my hand out towards everyone. I'm going to where Saki is again, and like your help.
この場合最後の祝福って誰がしたことになるんですかね。
Club Prez placed her hand on Hirosaka's head.
何してるんですか。やめてください。あんたでいいわよケイコ。サキちゃんとトールのこと好きなんでしょ。何を恥ずかしいこと言ってるんですか。
Hirosaka turned red and looked away.
思い出たどってこいって言ってたしどこまで手伝えるかはわからないけどね。無理やりにでも何でもトールとサキちゃんをキスさせればいいんでしょ。簡単簡単。
I hope so. Everyone tilted their heads in confusion. It wasn't like everything had been peaceful for Saki and me until all this happened. If we repeated the sequence of events, would I make a mistake again? Would I be able to win against temptation? No. It's true that this is because I've made many mistakes, but still, I'm going to search for a better answer. I looked around at everyone's faces. I raised my hand and snapped my fingers, and the world began to spin. Oh, that was cool. Did a little... They better spin in. Ah, they didn't spin in. I wanted them to do that effect like in inverse. It was back when we were still little.
ねえサキちゃんこれから行くところってどんなところなの。
I don't feel like we've really seen very many pictures, like if at all, of them kind of younger like this.
晴れてるとすごい空の綺麗なところよ。
Place with a very pretty sky when the weather is
空なん
nice.
てどこにでもあるし晴れていたらどこで見ても綺麗よ。ねえサキちゃんそこには空の他にはどんなものがあるの。何か何もないかな。何もないってすごいわ。私たち明日から月にでも遊びに行くのかしら。
Play on the moon.
そうじゃなくてお店とかもあんまりないしお家もそんなに近くにはなくて。
He's wearing that ring too, by the way.
山があって森があって川とか湖とか緑がたくさんあるところなの。なんだたくさんあるじゃない。それなのにどうして何もないなんて言うの。ごめんね。謝らなくていいのよ。だけどそれだけ素敵なものがたくさんあるのに何もないなんて言っちゃダメよ。素敵かな。お兄ちゃんとサキちゃんがいればきっと楽しいわ。それってすごく素敵よ。そうかも。トールちゃんとマヤちゃんがいればどこでも楽しいから。だからお兄ちゃんを川に落とせばもっと素敵になるわ。
Okay, okay, thanks.
ダメよマヤちゃん。トールちゃんが怒らないからってそんなことしたら。怒らないけどきっと仕返しはしてくるわ。それで3人とも川に落ちてずぶ濡れで遊ぶの。とっても楽しみだわ。私もなの？そうよ。
だって私たちは3人一緒でしょ。私とお兄ちゃんだけが楽しむなんて不公平だもの。
そうかも。そうなのかな。
他にもいろいろあるんでしょうね。虫を取ったりとかはお兄ちゃんしか楽しめなさそうだけど。
虫はちょっと怖いかな。
私も虫は好きじゃないけど。だけどサキちゃんにたくさん取ってきてあげるのは楽しそう。
嫌だって言ってるのに。
好きな子には意地悪したくなるのよ。
そんなの男の子じゃないんだから。
だけどお兄ちゃんとサキちゃんの困った顔ってとっても素敵なの。しょうがないじゃない。
Yeah, she was a little bit different. I mean, she still liked to tease people and still liked to have fun, but... And then she's still a little bit mean, but in a less twisted way.
よくわかんないよ。
だけどあんまりお兄ちゃんと水遊びはしない方がいいかしら。
どうして？
きちんと水着を着てればいいけど、最近お兄ちゃんってばサキちゃんを見る目がエッチだもの。びしょびしょになったサキちゃんなんてお兄ちゃんどんな目で見るかしら。
何それ。
そう？だってサキちゃんってば最近胸だって大きくなってきたじゃないの。
マヤちゃん、ちょっと怖いよ。
その方がメリハリが効いてきっとお兄ちゃんも飽きないわ。
メリハリって。
私間違いなく胸は大きくならないわ。なんとなくわかるの。だけど自信はあるわ。これでサキちゃんの胸が大きくなればちょうど胸の大きい女の子と小さい女の子が揃うでしょ。
それとトールちゃんが飽きないって
だってお兄ちゃんってきっと死ぬまで私とサキちゃん以外の女の子とは付き合えないわ。付き合わせないわ。
A little bit toxic, but okay.
だけどそれで私とサキちゃんが似てるとかわいそうだから。だったら私たち違った方がいいでしょ。
トールちゃんだってもしかしたら他の女の子のこと好きになるかもしれないよ。今は学校だって違うし、大人の人がいっぱいいるところに通ってるんだし。
だけど約束したもの。
縁日でトールちゃんに買ってもらった指輪よね。それがどうしたの？
私かサキちゃん以外の女の子にエッチなことを考えませんって約束させたの。
あんまりエッチなの私困るよ。
だったら少しだけならいいの？
わかんないよ。ただトールちゃん相手なら他の子よりは恥ずかしくないか。
まあいいわ。おもちゃの指輪だけどお兄ちゃんがそう言ってくれたことは嬉しいし、きっとこれは大きくなってからも脅せるわ。
脅すのは必要な時だけにしないとダメだってお母さんが言ってたよ。
さすがね。
どういう意味？
わからないならいいわ。それでサキちゃん、明日から行く別荘って緑いっぱいの大自然以外に何かないの？
何かって何？お父さんは釣りに行ったりしてるみたいだけど。
きっとうちのお父さんも好きだから一緒に行くんでしょうね。それにはあんまりついていきたくないわ。
そうだね。あとはそうだ、森に子供だけで入っちゃいけないんだった。
どうして？危ないからかしら。
Talking about the freaking forest, huh?
神隠しっていうのがよくあったんだって。
神隠し。その話サキちゃんは詳しく知ってる？
森にね、子供を連れて行っちゃう妖精とかそういうのがいて帰れなくなっちゃうんだって。
それじゃあただの人さらいじゃない。
そうじゃなくて、すごく綺麗なところに連れて行かれるから帰りたくなくなるって言ってた。綺麗なお花が咲いてて、お茶もお菓子もたくさんあって、遊ぶ相手がいつでもいて、
Huh.
学校もない
Doesn't
し
sound familiar.
眠たくもならないからずっとそこで遊んでいられる楽しいところだから行っちゃダメ。みんなのことを忘れて戻ってこられなくなっちゃうから。
日本では珍しいお話かしら。だけどそれとても綺麗で楽しそうだけど、お そうだよね。みんなのことを忘れちゃうなんて、そうじゃなくて、帰ってこれないならどうやって綺麗な場所だって分かったのかしら。あれ、そういえば、それにそれだけ楽しくて悩みも何もなければ、そのうち他のことなんて忘れちゃうんじゃないかしら。忘れないよ。それにどんな場所でもトールちゃんとマヤちゃんがいないと嫌だよ。いつもお兄ちゃんが先なのよね。何か言った？いいえ、何も。それじゃあ明日はその楽しいところに行くんだし。マヤちゃん、手つないでていい？ええ、いいわよ。きちんと捕まえてないと私どこか行っちゃうから。
We silently watched Maya and Saki unable to do anything. This was when we were kids. Saki and Maya were sleeping, holding hands in the playroom of my house. Normally, I was the one who slept holding hands with Maya, but on this day, Maya had driven me out of the playroom.
これは先輩は知らなかったことなんですよね。
Yeah, I wasn't there. In other words, this had to be Saki's dream. The only other possibility I could think of was that this was Maya's dream for when she had been alive. Maybe a dream that had been created from my imagination. Then the scenery changed. There were two kids wandering through the forest. Maya walked lightly as though she were a fairy. Sometimes she caught her foot on a root and tripped, but she always stood up again like nothing happened. Toru, who followed after her at an unsteady gait, he too would trip and fall before getting up again. He reached towards Maya and chased after her as she ran away, but their eyes seemed to be unfocused. Then when they reached an open area with few trees, Maya collapsed. She fell on her back as the flowers and grass growing there gently caught her. Toru, who arrived later, also collapsed there. The two of them didn't move for a while. Naturally, I couldn't stop them even when I reached out my hand.
もしかしなくても
This must be what happened before we were unable to go back. I don't remember any of it. The two of us lay there, Maya looking at the sky without a care in the world, me holding my sister's hand tightly after finally catching up to her.
覚えてないってどういうこと？
It was kind of sleepwalking. Maya and I both had it bad, and sometimes we'd go out walking at night. The two of us have a strong predisposition to sleepwalk, even so we rarely went out together. So we usually slept holding hands. The playroom also locked from the outside.
だけど旅行先だから違ってたってことかな。
Yeah, I think. Maya slipped out at night. I followed after her. When I looked closely, I could see the place we were lying was covered in beautiful flowers. It's almost like the flower garden Saki talked about, where children went and couldn't come back. It was like Maya had planned to come to this place.
先輩
You'll know what happened after this. It was the dream I had. Where only I was able to return. I was no longer holding Maya's hand. Okay, so we're actually getting a lot of information about kind of what was going on, kind of the lead up to that. Interesting. It's almost kind of implying like she's the princess that needs to be saved. Like she's the one that kind of fell asleep. You know, she's clearly only in dreams. She's the one that needs to be saved. So he's talking about this all being a dream. That makes me wonder if they did dream all this. I don't know. Then the scene changed again. When he woke up, Toru was in a hospital bed, and he refused to accept reality. There's no way Maya could be gone. The adults and doctors all said it was because he was weakened or because he was in shock. But Toru, who had rejected this world, wasted away day by day. It was like he was sleeping even though he was awake. He had been rather spacey and sleepy looking, so no one noticed the change at first. The first one who noticed was Saki, who had come to visit him.
トールちゃん
Oh, this dream again, Toru remembered in front of
夢っ
Saki.
て何言ってるの？
It's a weird dream, isn't it, Saki? I don't know why I've been having this dream all the time lately. In the hospital bed, Toru gave Saki a tired smile. In this dream, they say that Maya is gone. Weird, huh? Why do I keep having a dream like
トー
that?
ルちゃん
This might be the first time having a reoccurring dream. Also, it's unusual for me to remember them clearly.
トールちゃんにとってこれは夢なの？
What are you saying, Saki? There's no way Maya could be gone.
だけどトールちゃん、マヤちゃんは
In the forest, I guess she's still playing. Can't be helped. I'll get worried if she doesn't come back soon, though. Toru laughed in resignation, in the way he always did. Damn. Hey, Saki, why are you crying? Stifling her sobs, Saki shook her head silently. Toru didn't understand. It's precisely because Toru didn't understand that Saki couldn't stop crying. Toru hadn't realized that Maia was probably dead and there was almost no chance that she was alive. It had already been around a week since Toru had been found, the search that was about to be called off and everyone had given up. Sheesh. Saki, look, I'm okay. Maia will come back soon. That's weird. If Maia were here, I think she could get you to stop crying, but I'm not used to it. You're wrong, Toru-chan. Maia-chan is gone. The adults had already told him. Toru should already know by now. Saki had been here at the time. She had seen Toru go back to sleep after hearing that, like he didn't really understand. In other words, Toru hadn't accepted it from the beginning.
トールちゃん
For what? Saki wanted to say it. She thought she should say it. She's unable to voice the words that welled up within her. Even though it would be easier to spit them out, they were stuck on the tip of her tongue. It could be said that it was Saki's fault that Maia had been spirited away. No one knew that except Saki and Maia could no longer tell anyone. Only Saki knew. But she was unable to say it. Toru was tilting his head in confusion. Saki was afraid of telling Toru, who thought this world was a dream. She didn't want him to hate her. That thought was what stopped her. Oh well. Toru lay down again in the bed, leaving the sniffling Saki alone, finally able to release his hold on reality.
トールはこの辺りの時のこと覚えてるの？
Just barely. To me, the events up until Saki slapped me awake were almost like a dream. It was like we had gone on vacation, night had fallen, and we'd gone to sleep like usual. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. Saki's eyes were red from crying, and she was slapping my cheeks. That was when I finally woke up. Haha, I'm so lame. Saki wasn't next to me on the usual sofa. I sat there and looked down before trying to force a laugh, my face twitching. Couldn't raise my face. No one said anything. I wish they'd get mad at me for hurting Saki, not understanding anything.
この後って私たち見たことあるよね。
Yeah, I thought I managed to break free of Maia then, but Caprez looked annoyed, then she gave a gentle, resigned
自
smile.
分でそれできると思ってたの？
I thought so, but it turned out that I couldn't.
だけどそれって先輩だけのことでしょうか。
Yosaka had a painful, sad expression on her face. She looked away
あ
from
の
me.
子は先輩の妹さんを振り切れてないのはむしろ蓮野さんの方だったんじゃないでしょうか。いつも3人一緒だったんでしょ。その1人が欠けて、だけどトールが先に壊れちゃったから、だからサキちゃんは壊れられなかった。私にはそう見えるかな。
We had both broken, then I guess things would have been easier for us.
本気で言ってる？
At one point I was, but not anymore. Besides, that what if no longer held any meaning. Even if I could make a dream reality, I couldn't afford to choose
あの
that.
子はやり直せるって言ってたけど、あの森の後でもやり直せるんじゃないの？それこそ本気で望めば。
マイヤが消えて、トールとサキちゃんもそれに引きずられて壊れるってこと？そんなの最悪じゃない。
I know, that's why I don't want that anymore.
先輩はそうですよね。だけど、もしかしてなんですけど、
We looked up at that dream in a
蓮
daze.
野さんもずっと辛かったんじゃないんですか？
Oh yeah, I was noticing that a while ago. It definitely seemed like she had a lot more trauma that she was trying to process too. As soon as Hirosaka murmured that to no one in particular, the scene changed again. And Toru was being kissed by Saki. His face was ashen, although he hadn't lost any weight. His eyes were open but blank, so you couldn't tell what he was looking at, but he was able to notice the feel of Saki's kiss. It was a salty kiss that tasted like tears. Saki's lips slowly parted from his.
もう本当に好きだなんて言わないから。これからはずっと私の好きは妹の好きだから。
She remembered in a tiny voice, which Toru probably didn't hear. Damn, she slapped him. And Saki slapped her, shakes as hard as she could. A dry snap rang out. Stifling her love, guilt, regrets, and everything else, Saki glared at Toru. She sucked in a breath.
いい加減にしなさい。マヤちゃんは死んだの。夜中トールちゃんと一緒に森に行って帰ってこられなかったの。ここにはいないの。
Then I'll be with Maia. No, she's right next to me. See? She slapped him again. It was so hard that he ended up pulling out the IV. That she even ended up pulling out the IV in his arm. Toru winced at the pain of the needle being pulled
ど
out.
こにいるのよ。誰にも見えないの。トールちゃんにしか見えてないの。そんなところにマヤちゃんはいないの。
When he was awake, Toru behaved as though Maia was there. But that only lasted for a little while. Now Toru spent almost the whole day sleeping. At this rate, he might get to the point where he never woke up, and even if he did wake up, you couldn't tell how conscious he actually was. My fault.
ほら、どこにいるのマヤちゃん。いるなら私を止めなさいよ。でないと大事なものを奪っちゃうんだから。
So I'll make up for everything that Toru-chan is missing. Huh?
いないの。マヤちゃんはもう死んだの。いないのが当たり前になったの。いちゃいけないの。
Maia, it's not a dream that Maya's gone. Matter of fact, that can't.
死んだの。認めてよ。いないの。
Why are you saying
トール
that?
ちゃんがいつまでも認めないから。このままじゃマヤちゃんと同じところに行っちゃうから。
I want to
どう
go.
して私を置いていくの？
I'm not. You could go too.
いや、だって私はトールちゃんと一緒には行けないもの。
She would if she could, if it meant the three of them could be together again. But that was impossible. She could see the reality of what would happen if she wished for that by looking at Toru right in front of her. Saki couldn't do that. She couldn't choose that. What do I do? Toru's hand shook, her eyes filled with tears. Like he finally realized that something terrible had happened. He finally started realizing what was going on. It can't be true that Maia is gone. It was a cruel realization, but because it was reality, he couldn't avert his eyes from it. If he did, he would vanish from reality.
私がまだいるよ。
Saki?
私が全部やる。マヤちゃんの分も全部。トールちゃんに足りないものはきちんと埋めてあげる。
I mean, I'm kind of understanding now why she kind of did the things she did. I mean, at the time, this was probably maybe the right thing. He needed somebody to kind of fill this void that he had. And I don't know if it could have worked out if it wasn't another sister, you know? If it wasn't somebody who was close enough to him to really, like, play that sisterly part. It's just not a good situation all around. I mean, there was no miracle answer to this, because I mean he would have fallen you know, into the world of dreams otherwise. Lucky took Toru's trembling
マヤ
hands.
ちゃんのやってた意地悪もする。いつも一緒にいてあげる。いたずらだってする。だけど誰よりトールちゃんを大事に思ってるの。
If Saki acted as Maia, she wouldn't be able to protect herself like Maia had done, but Saki intended to protect Toru as Maia as well.
全部やるから。なんだってする。代わりになるから。私がトールちゃんの妹になるから。
In exchange, Saki would leave herself behind. Maia was gone. Toru's heart Toru's heart trembled under the strain of that truth. Unable to say anything, he just grasped Saki's hands. Is Maia really gone?
ええ、マヤちゃんがいるのは夢の世界だけ。
Blood dripped from where the IV had been pulled out. The sheets were stained a brilliant deep red. It
夢
hurts.
じゃないから痛いのよ。
Maia was gone. Toru had thought it was a dream, a bad dream. Even though he had only been walking in the forest holding Maia's hand, only he had been able to leave that forest. Only I was able to come back. After that, he expected Maia to still be alive, but it was only a vague notion. The dream had been in place without the feel of Saki's hands, without the pain of blood flowing from his wrist and where his chest didn't hurt. nearly this much in sorrow. Is Maya really gone forever?
トールちゃんが見つかってからもう1週間以上経ってるから。
Like he was hesitant, but she didn't know what would happen if she wasn't firm. She was afraid of what might happen, so she said it.
きっともうマヤちゃんは生きてない。
I mean, I have no idea really what the right call in this situation would be. Obviously, you need a lot of counseling, like a lot of walking through this kind of sensitive subject, right? Like you just lost the person most important to you. I mean, I don't know how you make up for that, right? But you certainly don't want to ignore it. And I think also trying to pretend like she's still here in a way also isn't good either. Wasn't able to say Maia was dead, but Saki couldn't allow Toru any hope that Maia might be alive. She had to tell him. That was the cold, hard truth of reality. Toru slowly started to understand. His heart wavered under the weight of the real world. He felt like it would be crushed, but he somehow bore it as he squeezed Saki's hand. Maia was gone. Just thinking that caused him to cry out. Maia. His little sister had been more important to him than anyone. The sister he protected ever since she was born was suddenly gone. Even though he'd been closest to her when she disappeared, he didn't understand. He couldn't remember. His grip grew weak from blood loss, but he still had squeezed the hand of the person right in front of him. Saki squeezed back.
私がこれからは妹だから妹になるからね、兄さん。
Toru found himself pathetic for not being able to refuse. That's... Hear that, and Saki unable to tell her that she didn't need to do that. He tried to hold back, but his sobs eventually gave way. Even when the doctor came, realizing that Toru was awake, Toru was still crying. As you'd expect, I do remember this.
ごめん。あんまり人に見られたいことじゃなかったよね。
I mean, I think it just goes to show how broken of a person Toru was after that. And Saki was trying to be the fix, right? But that's the thing. You can't really be someone that fixes everybody else's problems, you know? That's just not how that works. Sometimes people need to build that up on their own. You could be someone who helps people with fixing their problems. So you can't be someone who does fix the problem. You can't be the part that plugs the hole in a leak in their heart, you know? That's just not possible. I mean, there's definitely people that try to do that, but I think if you rely so much on another person to fix something that traumatic, I think it's just gonna end up backfiring on you. It's something you kind of have to build yourself up to do. I mean, like I said, that's not an excuse to not rely on people or to not have them help you, but you can't have someone else solely be the solution to that problem. At least that's just how I see it. I mean, that's just a really hard thing to go through. It's a lot of trauma. You really have to do a lot of counseling, and you know, that's gonna take years to even get to a point where you maybe are comfortable thinking about it. And I'm not saying by being comfortable thinking about it that it's not painful or it's not that it's over, but at least you can bear it. It's not going to be this sinking, empty end of the world kind of feeling. And it's different for everyone. So, I mean, I really shouldn't speak so broadly, but I mean, I've gone through something that kind of felt that way before. I lost my grandmother, right? And it felt kind of like that. It was something that hurt me for years, and then I got to a point where I was a little bit more comfortable with it, but I still had times when something would really bring it up strongly, and I'd cry. You know, it's just different for everybody, and that's hard because he's probably even younger than I was. I was around 10, so it's hard at any age. Even if I lost somebody important to me right now, it still hurt. It always hurts. It was true that it was an embarrassing memory, and I wasn't particularly eager for anyone to see it, but I was already prepared for this when I asked you all to follow me wherever Maia was. Although just because I was prepared doesn't mean it was embarrassing that I didn't decide how pathetic I was. I really am pathetic, aren't I?
いえ、大事な人だったんですよね。
I don't know, Toru saying how pathetic he is for feeling bad and having remorse and regret for, you know, what happened, I think is is just an unhealthy way of looking at it. Like, you don't need to put that extra burden on you, I guess. Like, you already hurt enough. You don't need to say you're pathetic. Nobody thinks you're pathetic. At least in that regard. You definitely have a lot of pathetic things about you, Toru. But you have pain, right? And like there's nothing pathetic about that. So important that I almost unconsciously tried to follow after her. Kleprez gave me and it can't be helped, along with a wry smile. It's a very Japanese thing to say. It can't be helped. Sister obsessed. That's how it is, although this also applies to Saki, not just Maia. I sat down heavily on the sofa and looked up at the ceiling, sighing. It was a part of me, and suddenly she was completely gone. I don't remember, so I couldn't understand. Not forcing myself, I do look pathetic, but that's me, and you already saw anyways. There's no point in hiding this from you guys anymore. Besides, in a weird way, now we're even. I knew some of the things about Hirosaka and Kleprez. Saki wasn't the only one who hated reality. Also searching through her pockets, inside her shoes and under her collar, it seemed she couldn't find what she was looking for. Looked under the table, under plates, and even nibbled at some of the cake to see if it was inside, but she found nothing. Ah, yeah, totally, it was in the cake. You just needed to eat more. Kleprez left Alice to it and faced me again. Now I was admitted into the hospital again for a different reason this time. Since my IV was so haphazardly pulled out, it was entirely reasonable to assume I was losing a lot of blood, but I think it was because I had grown weak. But there was a problem that I hadn't taken care of yet, or I guess I should say it hadn't taken care of itself yet. I was finally able to recently, but there was something else. Kleprez seemed to have guessed what it was, so she came up to the sofa and leaned her elbows against it from behind. Hirosaka and Alice gasped. All of this was why I started having lucid dreams. The scenery spun around. Huh. I wonder if it permanently damaged his sense of reality from that point. I mean, we kind of already knew that. The place without Maia became reality, and anywhere with Maia had to be a dream. Toru understood that, and it was precisely because he understood it that he'd been able to return to reality. If he hadn't, he wouldn't have been able to come back. As a result, Toru became able to tell when he was dreaming. It wasn't just that he could remember his dreams clearly, he could also tell that he was dreaming while in the middle of a dream. Toru was lying in bed, exhausted. He felt like he might pass out any moment, but he couldn't. If he did, he would have another happy dream. Is she a nurse? Who's there? Toru didn't think anyone was there. Surprised, he sat up in bed. His weak body seemed to creak as he moved, but it wasn't a big deal. His heart hurt a lot more. Oh. Okay, so she was another girl he met in the hospital. I'm wondering, though, if she was, like, in a coma or something. Like I originally said. Hide. Just then, Toru finally noticed that kid was wearing pajamas. It was probably a hospital patient like him. You won't get better if you don't behave. I'm just so glad we get to see, like, there's so much backstory in this. I mean, I guess it's kind of nice that we're getting this a little bit later. It kind of maybe ruined some of the suspense for me, like, early on. But I don't know. I think this would have been nice to kind of find out early on. The unfamiliar girl gave a wry smile. Why was she talking like a boy even though she was obviously a girl? I thought you told me to go to sleep. Yeah, but I could push the nurse call button, you know. Maybe, but who are you anyways?
暇つぶしの話の内容は正直何でもいいんだ。
People usually talk about their worries with complete
見
strangers.
ず知らずの相手だからするんだよ。第三者的に無責任な答えを返せるからね。
Kind of right, though. I mean, it is easier sometimes to open up to a stranger because it's not like you're gonna see them again, right? You look about the same age as me.
若いからこその柔軟な意見を返せるとも言うね。
Gosh, you sound really old for how young you're supposed to be. When the girl confidently put a hand on her chest, reminding Toru of Maia, and his expressions became a little sad.
僕が邪魔で辛いなら出るけど。
It's not that. The girl tilted her head. She was sitting on the edge of Toru's bed, dangling her
あ
legs.
とはほら、同じ年くらいの入院仲間っていないんだ。だから構ってほしい。
Surprised that's all it takes for you to enter another person's room without their permission. What if I'm someone dangerous? Oh yeah, the person in the hospital is dangerous.
僕に何かするつもりかな？それはそれでいい暇つぶしになりそうだな。
Okay, what child says that? You intend to do something to me. You're just gonna murder me. That might be a good way to kill time, I guess. What are you imagining when you say something?
そう、なんだろう。下手なことすると僕死ぬよ。そりゃもう、あっさり永遠のおいとまをいただくことになるね。
Wouldn't be the first person in his life who died. Sorry, bad joke, bad joke. Don't talk like that.
ごめんごめん。でも、そんな事情でもなければ、長期入院なんてしてないよ。
I feel like my coma theory is getting more plausible here. You should really go back to your
暇で
room.
死ぬ。
Die of boredom. Though Toru thought this was an awful joke, he sighed in sympathy. Fine, whatever. Oh yeah. So, what's your name?
どうしようか。
Maybe she has amnesia.
いや、ここでうっかり名前を教えて、君が後でナースさんか先生の誰かに密告しないかと心配で。
I don't mind if we just call each other hey you, but you're bored, aren't you? I'll probably be staying in the hospital for a little while. Oh, said the girl, looking into her shining eyes. So if we're going to speak on a regular basis, wouldn't it be better if we knew each other's
な
names?
るほど。確かにな。
No, they cut it off.
それじゃあ自己紹介といこうか。僕は、
Ah, they cut it off. I hate it. Because I'm guessing her real name is an Alice? Is that what they're implying? Oh, this is why I started having lucid
なるほ
dreams.
どね。夢から覚めたからこそ夢がわかるようになっちゃったのか。人の脳ってほんと適当ね。
The human brain really is that fast. I felt dizzy if I just had a moment of static in my brain.
先輩、大丈夫ですか？
Yeah. I felt like I'd seen something just now. What had I seen? What? How much of the dream did we see?
何かってさきちゃんがどうしてトールの妹になったのかっていうのは見てたけど。
Something happened after that I could have sworn. We're just gonna cover that up. We're not gonna mention that whole last part. That was kind of important. Alice finally found a key under a teapot and held it up. Clearly forgot what I was wondering about. All that was left was the unease of having forgotten something.
それ、どこに行く鍵なんですかね？
Ursaka calmly asked as she modestly clapped her hands. Alice froze, still holding the key aloft. Couldn't see any more of my dream. I didn't know what had happened if we stayed here and were shown the next dream. It was finally getting good. You should just sit here for a minute. I mean, Saki's fine. She'll be okay. Doesn't really matter. Stood up and yanked the key away from Alice.
いや、どこでもいいってそうかな。
Even if we stay here, we won't be able to reach the dream, so it'd be faster if we acted more proactively. Tossed around the key in my palm. We can also do this. Took my cell phone out of my pocket and removed Maya's ring from it. Then I attached the key like it was a keychain, that part that rusted shone in the light. And we could try it as many times as we need to. When I stuck the key into the door, it clicked open even though the key had a different shape than
ちょ
usual.
っと待ちなさいよ。一人で行く気？
I was afraid of what would happen if we stayed here and saw the continuation of that dream. No, it was just getting good! So I stepped through the doors as though running away. I heard everyone hurrying after me, so I stepped into the dream. Oh, that's such a cock block. How could you do that? The dream was getting good. That's what I wanted to see. Oh, we're getting a continuation? Okay, I'll shut up.
いつだったっけ？知らない男の部屋にのこのこ入ってきて、不死だらな、ということを
君は
Never
言
said
った
that.
ことがあったよね。
Toru's face looked tired as usual. Even though he slept, he couldn't get any rest, so that gradually wore at his mind. That was why he was in the hospital. That girl had developed the habit of sneaking into Toru's hospital room when Saki and his family weren't
ま
there.
ああれだ。君が僕に手を出したら死ぬなんてのは大げさだし、どうでもいいとは全く思わないんだけどね。
Interesting. They have a different eye color, though. I'm trying to think, is Alice just really imagined? Like, did he just imagine Alice based on this girl? Or is this girl really the same, but, like, that's how she sees herself in the dream? Like, what are they implying here? Because I was, like, trying to look at her. I'm like, I don't think Alice's eyes are that color. Even though that's clearly Alice. I mean, at least based on her. Because, like, yeah, Alice's eye color is different. So that's why they're not saying her name, because maybe it isn't Alice, or maybe it's a version he based on. There's a lot of
ただ
possibilities.
別にね、僕は死ぬなら死ぬでいいと思っているんだよ。
Here, said the girl. She sat down an apple she was peeling as she talked on the side table. Why would dying be okay? Toru picked up one of the neatly cut pieces of apple. This girl sometimes took care of Toru like this, but she never ate anything herself.
どうしてだい？君も君だけじゃない。ここに来る人は辛い思いをしても生きてるじゃないか。なんで人は辛いのに生きているんだろうね。
I don't know, because I think death's scarier. It's an unknown. What else is there you'd rather
ど
die?
っちでもいい。
Her expression looked very natural, and she was smiling like usual. Don't you have things you want to do, or things you desire, or hopes or
知
dreams?
らない。いつ倒れるかわからない身だしね。
Go back to your room. I don't want you to collapse
な
here.
らここでは倒れないようにするよ。
Toru clutched his face in response to the girl who wouldn't
ト
leave.
ールは死にたくなさそうだね。どうしてかな。
Why do you even need to ask
い
that?
ろいろ僕は君から聞いたよね。大事な妹さんの話も、傷つけてしまった大切な幼馴染の話も聞いた。
She peered into Toru's eyes, causing the bed to creak. She smelled like hospital disinfectant, even more than Toru did. She didn't have a girl smell like Saki or
極
Maia.
端な話だ。トールの場合はさ、いっそ幸せな夢を見たまま死んでしまった方が幸せなんじゃないのかい？
I don't know, like how you're saying that in the audio, like cut off. There's no more music. Every night I had a happy dream on Maya. I was unlucky enough to be able to recognize my dreams as dreams immediately, so I could tell just how fake they were right away. I was afraid of sleeping, but I wanted to. Maya was gone in the waking world, although I already knew that the loneliness of the realization made my chest hurt. Well, the girl waited for my answer. You're right, it's painful without Maya, so I'd like to die. That's what I answered at the time, but I was wrong. I felt dizzy. What was I seeing? What was I looking down at myself where I was in the bed? I couldn't tell. Yet, here, I had to admit it. Well, the girl waited for my answer. Can we change it? The idiot said that it was painful without Maya, so he'd like to die. That couldn't be right. It's painful without Maya. Without Maya. My mouth wouldn't move
辛
right.
くてどうなんだい？
I would like to die. Maybe that would be easier. Even though I thought that, I still want to live. Aye, that's right. I Toru Naito. Said that from the bottom of my heart. I was sure I knew who the girl in front of me was, but I couldn't remember. Even though I'd seen her many times, the current me couldn't remember, but I couldn't lie to her.
本気みたいだね。
I am. Geez, what kind of dream were you trying to show me? I stroked her face, brushed her hair, my body creaked nostalgically. Everything was crazy, but I managed to take control of this dream. This is a dream based on my memories in the hospital, but I was no longer passively watching. I had become myself.
夢ってトール、君まさか。
It's the current me. I'm on my way to go get Saki back, but it's my fault for being wrong here from the beginning. I didn't know who she was, even though I'd seen her so many times I couldn't remember her at all. But I knew I'd been wrong to say that in front of her, and even if it was a dream, I was going to redo it. Listen to me, there's no way a dream would be better or happier, so that I would want to die, okay? Even if it's just a possibility of that dream becoming reality, that's just running away. What good would running away do? Eventually, you either can't run away anymore, or you don't even know what you're running from. At least I won't run away anymore. No matter how painful it is, even if I want to cry and start over, I won't run away into a dream.
何が君をそこまで言わせるのかな。強いから。だとしたら誰もがトールみたいに強いわけがない。
Are you blind? Do I look strong to you? Of course I'm not. If I were, this never would have happened in the first place. I would have accepted Maia's death. I'd be standing on my own 2 feet.
どうして？
Because of Saki. I wasn't strong by myself. I wouldn't be able to tell dreams from reality, and I probably would have gone to where Maia was if I left to my own devices. Even though Maia wouldn't be there. What did I make Saki do? How much did I make her cry? So how can I say on top of that it's painful and I want to die? Fuck that. Hell yeah, Toro. I like the excitement here. My fault that Saki wasn't able to remain my childhood friend. It's my fault that after Maia died and one of the 3 of us was gone, I made Saki make up for it. It's because I was unreliable that Saki threw away her own place and took up Maia's place to support
だか
me.
ら死ねない。あの子に申し訳がないから逃げられない。
It's not just that. That was part of it, of course, but there's more to it. Saki was as important to me as Maia. It would be too pathetic of me to keep being supported by her, right? So I, at least, want to stand up for myself and save her. Until then, I can't die. I don't want to die. I don't want to run away. I wanted to protect Saki. The girl watched me with a smile I couldn't read at all.
本当に難儀だね。
I'm going to do it anyways.
そっか。どうやら君は一つの答えにたどり着いたみたいだ。けれど、彼女はどうかな。
The girl stood up, got down from the bed, and stared at my
いい
face.
答えを出せることを願っているよ。それまで僕は君を見ていよう。
At the end, she giggled and snapped her fingers. Oh, dang. Okay. This whole little thing has been really good. I don't quite fully understand what exactly is happening, but I'm sure I'm going to as things progress. Again, Saki was unable to shoot Maia. I actually think this is really good. That part is really good as a lead up, I think, to what's going to happen next. I landed on the dark forest floor as though I'd been falling. This is a continuation of the dream between Saki and Maia. Saki aimed her gun at Maia, and a little ways away, Saki was crouching and Maia was hugging her from behind. Saki was holding a gun with her hands, but her arms were limp and she was looking down and crying. As if those words were a signal I couldn't get close to them no matter how much I ran, but if I stopped, then I would never be able to reach her. As though I couldn't get close, I continued to run towards Saki.
お兄ちゃんの望みとサキちゃんの望みが食い違ってしまったのね。
Hugging the crouching Saki from behind, Maya stroked Saki's cheek gently. Maya, why are you doing this?
サキちゃんが望むんですもの。
Saki was looking down and sobbing as Maya
お
stroked
兄
her.
ちゃんは欲しい。どうしても自分のものにしたい。その気持ちはきっとサキちゃんにとっても強いものだわ。けれど、それでも私を振り切ることができなかった。サキちゃんはお兄ちゃんほど強くないのよ。
Now I was able to free myself of you because Saki was there,
そ
so...
の代わりにサキちゃんは私を振り切ることができなかった。お兄ちゃんはその理由がわかるでしょ。サキちゃんは私の代わりになった。お兄ちゃんに足りない私を埋めた。ずっとお兄ちゃんの中の私を意識してた。だったら忘れられるわけなんてないわよね。サキちゃんの中にもずっと私がいたんですもの。
I know it's my fault, after all.
兄さんは悪くない。
Saki stood up unsteadily and Maya moved away from her, but I couldn't stop Maya from taking Saki's hand as if they were a couple. That was what Saki wished for. The thought sent a chill down my spine.
私が悪いんだもの。
How? It was my fault for not being able to free myself of Maya and for almost dying, wasn't it?
そうよね。それにふらふらと森に入って帰れなくなったのも私とお兄ちゃんがそういう子だったからだもの。サキちゃんは何か 悪いことをしたの？
Saki nodded. Maya looked as if she knew how Saki was going to
マ
reply.
ヤちゃんが森に行ったのは私があんな話をしたから。それにあの日だって私が気づいていれば同じ部屋で3人で寝てたじゃない。どうして2人がいなくなったことに気づかなかったのかって。
Gosh, everyone's just blaming themselves. I don't know what exactly is going on with Maya, why she's kind of tormenting us in this way. I don't know. How is that your fault?
私があの時やっぱりあの話をしなければって今までに何度も思ってきた。あれがなければこんなことにならなかったのかなって。
Before I could say
それ
anything,
は責任が負いすぎだわ。
Maya gently scolded
そ
Saki.
れまでサキちゃんのせいだったら、私とお兄ちゃんは自分の行動に責任がなくなっちゃうもの。
Why was Maya defending Saki like that, even though those words were the words I meant to say? Yeah, that wasn't your fault, Saki.
違うの。私が一番悪いのはそのことじゃないの。
Saki smiled at me through her
私
tears.
が一番悪いのはトールちゃんを縛り付けてることなの。
What do you mean? The flowers grew denser around us. The scent of red nightmare flowers hung heavily in the air.
私のせいでマイヤちゃんがいなくなっちゃって、それなのに私はトールちゃんを捕まえた。きっとそのままマイヤちゃんのところに行ってしまった方が楽だったのに。
What are you
トー
saying?
ルちゃんはきっとそのままなら苦しむことなんてないままマイヤちゃんのところに行けた。きっとそれは幸せでいられたはずなのに。だけど私が捕まえたから、こっちに引っ張り戻したから、トールちゃんはずっと苦しそうだったでしょ。
What are you saying? That's not true.
そうだって夢を覚えていられるようになってからずっと眠そうで疲れてて、倒れて病院にだって行くようになったじゃない。見てて辛そうだった。全部私のせいなんだなって。私が捕まえたから。だからマヤちゃんの代わりだけじゃなくて私が責任を取らないと。そう思ってたけど。
Yeah, Saki, I mean, there was no, like, perfect answer to this, but at the same time, you kind of saved Toru. Like, he would have just fallen into the dream world and maybe have died. Tears straight down Saki's
な
face.
のに恋人になんてなっちゃって、私が幸せになっていいわけないじゃない。私は幸せで嬉しいのに、トールちゃんはこれからもきっと夢を見てうなされるんだって思ったら、だったら
She took Maya's hand and the two spoke as one.
全部夢にしてしまえばいい。
The nightmare flowers covered our surroundings. That overly sweet, overly kind scent filled the air around us. It was a scent, or a smell that made you think you'd be happier if you stayed in the nightmare forever. What are you saying? I don't want to make it all a dream. Gosh, Toru, stop saying that. What are you saying? Just stand up for her. Stand up for you. What happened to Maya was neither of your guys' fault. I don't know what exactly happened there, but you can't blame each other. Also, I just realized, now that we kind of saw that flashback earlier, you noticed the little pendant she's wearing? It was the same stuffed animal she was holding onto.
何言ってるの？兄さんは辛くなかったの？あんなにいつも苦しそうだったじゃない。
I mean, yeah, he was suffering. He had something traumatic happen to him. I mean, that's not something you could just take away. I wasn't getting any closer to Saki and Maya, no matter how much I ran out and reached for her. But if I gave up, I would never catch up to them.
あれから何度倒れたの？ゆっくり眠れた日はどれだけあった？
I think what he needs to convey here is that as much as he loves Maya and misses her, that Saki was just as important. I mean, I don't know if he can say that they were equally important because, you know, Maya being a sister, right? But he needs to say that you are important to me as well. I don't know, maybe he can get away with saying you're just equally as important. I mean, he's in love with her, right?
だけど何これからもずっとそれが続くのよ。そんなの辛いでしょ。
Maybe he can say, like, hey, I want to be with you both, but Saki's the only one that's still here, and I'm gonna cherish her, and hope that the same thing doesn't happen. You know, something along those lines, like, right? Like I'm gonna hold on to reality, and Saki is a part of reality. And you know, not to dismiss that he loves Maia and that he wants Maia to still be there, but that he's got to continue to acknowledge that she's not there anymore. Saki was facing me, but her eyes didn't really seem to see me. She had a look on her face as she was dozing off and having a pleasant dream. Maia, are you taking advantage of someone's weakness again?
弱いってことは望んでいるってことでしょ。それを叶えてあげることの何がいけないのかしら。
I mean, there's a lot of things people want. Like, we love sugar. Like, we're a society that has such free access to sugar nowadays. So we, like, want sugar. We crave it, right? But just because you want it doesn't mean you should have it. There's consequences. There's downsides to it, right? I mean, you can look at that with any addiction. Like, too much of anything is bad. Like, you have too much water, you'll drown, you know? You have too many bananas, apparently you'll get radiation poisoning. A silly joke, but everything needs to be done in moderation.
それで誰が不幸になるの？
I think giving her a falsehood will make her unhappy. Froze for a moment. Saki wanted to undo her mistake. I would stop having lucid dreams and be able to sleep peacefully. All the inconveniences we've been through these past years would become a dream and disappear, leading us to have a happy dream and none the wiser. Found myself imagining what that would be
お兄
like.
ちゃんとサキちゃんの答えは違ってしまった。それだけでしょ。だから私は私を頼ってくれるサキちゃんの願いを叶えてあげるの。それを止めようだなんて言うならそれはお兄ちゃんのエゴでしょ。
Just you flexing your ego. Wow. Okay, you're gonna say this to Toru, the person that really doesn't have much of an ego, in my opinion? Does he have an ego? I don't know. Blooming red flowers grew thick all around us. I mean, I think he has his sense of pride. I would say that. I don't know if he has an ego, like he thinks he's all that. Saki still had a dazed expression on her face. The tears were sliding down her
私
cheeks.
たちどうしてもっとうまくできなかったのか
Because that's not how life works. Everybody wants that. Like, life is just bullshit. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. It's a bunch of bullshit. But there are a few moments that make it worth living. At least you gotta find some, right? Like, hopefully everybody can find some moments that make life worth living. And a lot of people don't. And that's the reality. A lot of people don't. They leave maybe sooner than they should have. I mean, I don't know how to fix that problem. I don't know. I'm not gonna claim to have some philosophical answer to like how we solve people from not being able to find purpose and not being able to find happiness in life. I mean, you just gotta be, I guess, a good person. I would say is the only thing you can really do. Like, be a good person so that people enjoy being around you and be supportive of others, you know? You don't necessarily have to agree with everything they do, but support them and love them anyways, right? I don't know. That's just one thing you can do. Don't add to the hardships of life, you know? Try to be someone that helps ease someone's burdens rather than creating them. There you go. There's my advice if I have to pull something out of my ass. My reply didn't reach her.
幸せな夢を始めましょう。大丈夫よ、サキちゃん。これからは何も心配しなくていいの。信じたことが全部本当になっていくのよ。
To my imagination, or to Maya's voice sounds somewhat sad. They keep saying that. They keep acting like she's feeling sad about it. I wonder... I just don't know enough about her situation. I don't know enough about Alice's situation to really, like, comment too much. I can kind of speculate, but it leaves me wanting more. And still wasn't reaching her. Saki, Maia. Unable to resist, I joined them among the flowers and fell into darkness. Ah, shit. Fallen into darkness. Oh, and there's no flowers. Next thing I knew, I was standing in front of the school gate. Well, perfect. We're gonna end here because I see that we're building up to the climax here. I think I want to dedicate the whole next episode to seeing where this takes us, just because I know we're quite a ways into this video. So, anyways, you guys, we end it here. Really good moment. I really like this whole thing. Really makes you think about things. It's hard. It's hard to come up with reasons to just not dive into a dream world. Like, what if you were told that you could have a life where everything's just dandy and fine and perfect? I don't know. I I could maybe see myself going into something like that. There's a lot of things about life that I don't really like. There's a lot of things that cause me pain. A lot of things that inconvenience me. A lot of things that make me feel uncomfortable. A lot of things in life that I want to protect. You know, there's a lot of reasons why I would like to be in a world like that. So I can't defend it every time, right? It's really hard to defend just giving in. It would be so much easier. You'd be so much more happy, but in the end, I just think it's not real. It's not life, and I just don't know if I could be happy knowing that, right? I guess if you had your memory wiped, you know, but that's I don't know. That's a what if. Anyways, you guys, we'll end it here. I think this is a good episode. A lot going on, a lot of good conversations, and a lot to think about for sure. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next episode. I have a feeling we're getting close, so I'll probably try to make that the last episode in Saki's route, depending on how long it is. But I'll see you guys then.